Some players entered into the 2025-26 season with a lot of haters and naysayers. Many people didn't believe in them and expected them to fail, but with what we have seen from them so far this season, it's safe to say that these players are now laughing in the faces of all their haters. Who are some guys who fall into this category? You'll find out in this video today. These are 10 players who proved the doubters wrong this season.
Football's more than a game. It's passion, pride, glory. This World Cup season, Goal90 brings you our biggest offer yet. Buy 3 jerseys and get 1 free. That's 4 jerseys for the price of 3. And yes, free worldwide shipping. This is a limited time World Cup special only until April the 30th. So move fast. Pick your jerseys. Wear your passion. Own the moment before they're gone. Visit Goal90 shop. Link in the description.
We'll start with Dominic Soli. Among the midfield trio that won the league last season, he was seen as the weakest link and was promptly expected to be benched when Florian Wirtz arrived. Well, this season he has completely turned the story around. The Hungary captain has shown a lot of hunger and passion for the Reds. He has been the club's best player without a doubt and has helped the club so much. He has played as a midfielder, an attacker, and even as a defender, and has delivered in every position. Liverpool did not have the best of seasons, but they would absolutely be in a much worse place right now, if not for Sobo. It feels like he heard everything that was being said about him and took it very personally. And from a current Liverpool player, let's talk about a former one, Luis Diaz. After he left Liverpool last summer, many people said that he wasn't good enough and that he would go and flop at Bayern Munich. In fact, there were a lot of people peddling the narrative that Liverpool got the better end of the deal, earning 70 million euros for a player that wasn't good. But well, as we have seen, the Colombian winger has gone and proven the doubters absolutely wrong. He is having the best individual season of his career, could end up earning his first Ballon d'Or nomination, and could even still end the season with a European treble. Diaz is a part of the deadliest attack in football right now and is now regarded as one of the best wingers in the world. Many people doubted him coming into the season, but he has proven all of them wrong. You know who else was doubted? Brian and Bowmo. At the beginning of the season, all sorts of fat jokes were made about him and people seemed sure that he would not be able to perform at Man United. After he blanked in his first 2 games for the club and missed that penalty against Grimsby Town in the League Cup, the mockery grew even louder. But he has since managed to silence all the doubters. He has played as a right winger, left winger, centre forward and second striker, and in each position he almost always delivers. He is United's highest goalscorer and second highest assist provider this season. Even in the first half of the campaign, when a lot of the players were struggling under Amorim, he was one of the only ones who was still delivering, even winning the Premier League Player of the Month award in October. But one man who probably has more doubters than all the other players in this video combined is Marcus Rashford. He is up there as one of the most over-scrutinised players in the world, so he certainly had millions of doubters coming into this season. First of all, after his stint at Aston Villa and his falling out with Ruben Amorim at Man United, a lot of people said that no big club would go near him. But well, he ended up joining Barcelona. After he signed that contract, a lot of people said he would not deliver. Some even said that he would not be able to hit 20 goal contributions for the Blaugranas. Well, look at him now. He's been directly involved in 26 goals in just 23 starts for Barcelona. He's well on the way to hitting 30 goal contributions this season while not being a starter. That's definitely one way to silence all the doubters. When you look objectively at what he has done in his very first season playing outside England, almost 30 goal contributions, a first career league title in the bag, and a return to the England squad ahead of the World Cup, you have to say that he has done far more than what anyone expected of him this season. Speaking of players who have returned to the England squad reminds us of Dominic Calvert-Lewin. After he left Everton, everyone thought he was finished. In fact, even after he joined Leeds, he was still heavily mocked because of the chances he missed. Compilations were being made of his misses and he was being laughed at by millions of people. But soon, he turned on a switch and started balling out. Now, he has scored 11 Premier League goals for a relegation-threatened side, which means that only one Englishman has managed to outscore him in the Prem this season. And what makes this even more impressive is the calibre of opponents most of his goals have come against: Man City, Chelsea, Liverpool, Newcastle. He hasn't just been scoring goals, he has been scoring really big ones. From being labelled finished, Calvert-Lewin has managed to lead Leeds to an FA Cup semi-final, drag them to Premier League safety, and he now has a real chance of going to the World Cup this summer. Who's laughing now? Another striker who belongs on this list is Ferran Torres. Many Barcelona fans wanted him sold in the summer, but this season he has turned out to be a very important member of the squad. He is in the top 5 in the race for the Pichichi and is Barcelona's second highest scorer this season. Yes, he does miss a lot of chances, which gets fans super frustrated, but considering he came into the season as a backup striker and has now scored 19 goals in 29 starts, that's just super impressive. It is surely a way to silence the doubters. Now, from a former Man City man, let's talk about a current one, Abdulkadir Kusanov. After his horror debut against Chelsea after his move to City in January 2025, the young defender was clowned and mocked. In fact, it looked like Pep Guardiola himself gave up on him, banishing him to the bench for the rest of the season. And this season started with the same theme. He was barely getting any playing time. But following the injuries to Ruben Diaz and Gvardiol in January, Pep was forced to use him, and Kusanov took the opportunity to prove all his doubters wrong. He has been super solid in the last few months and is now one of the first names in the City team sheet as they look to close out the season with a domestic treble. Everyone is now singing Kusanov's praises, with folks even going as far as to say that he could be one of the best defenders in the league in the next couple years. And a teammate of his with a very identical situation is Nico Gonzalez. He also joined City in January 2025, but after a few games he was banished to the bench. It got so bad that there were rumours that the former Barcelona man was already looking for a way out just 6 months after he joined. People were already calling him a waste of £50 million, saying that he just could not hack it in the Premier League. But this season, he has changed that narrative. In the absence of Rodri, Pep trusted him to start almost every game at the beginning of the season, and Nico repaid that faith with solid performance after solid performance. And well, just the other day, he scored the goal that helped Man City make history by becoming the first team to ever reach 4 successive FA Cup finals. He has definitely proven the doubters wrong. And you know one guy we just cannot forget today? Andre Onana. He had the worst reputation coming into this season. He was literally one of the most ridiculed players in world football, but he moved to the Turkish Super League and has quietly been repairing his image. He is now in the top 10 for most saves made, best save percentage, most goals prevented, and most clean sheets in the league this season. Maybe being away from the limelight has helped, but the former Inter Milan man has surely silenced the doubters this season. We'll now wrap up with Hugo Ekitik. Coming into this season, there were a lot of fans who said that he was not worth the €95 million that was paid for him. They said he had flopped at PSG and would not be able to hack it at another big club like Liverpool, much less a much more difficult league like the Premier League. There were some who even said he was too lightweight to withstand the physicality of the English game. Well, the Frenchman came in and totally bamboozled everyone, scoring on his Liverpool debut, Premier League debut, FA Cup debut, EFL Cup debut, Anfield debut, Wembley debut, literally every debut you can think of. He was directly involved in 23 goals for Liverpool before that nasty injury cut his season short. But in spite of that, he is still one of the Premier League's 10 highest goal scorers this season and was the reason Liverpool didn't really feel the very poor form of Isak this campaign. Hugo Ekitik really did silence the doubters this season. Now, are there more players you would say have really proven the doubters wrong this season? Drop their names in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Also, turn on the bell notification so you never miss out on new content. Catch you in the next one. Bye.